Okay, let's get to another question here. This question is one that I've been wanting to address, and it's going to take a little time. That's why I waited for the middle part of the hour. Hi, Charlie. I've listened to your podcast for about a year now. I'm a mom of 4 with 3 grown boys and a 15-year-old girl. What we've been struggling with is summed up in your episode from today on digital hermits. I felt like we've done a good job with our kids, raising them in church and homeschooling, giving them a biblical worldview. But all that changed with COVID. Our church closed, but I'm afraid the damage is already done. My daughter is as you described on your episode. She has her phone constantly. When I take it from her, she becomes someone I don't know. It is literally an addiction. When you take it from her, she has literal withdrawal symptoms. Let me just kind of encourage you and all the parents out there, you are not a failure. You're dealing with a drug that your experts, your leaders, never told you honestly with what it was. So a book that I found to be incredibly helpful with this is a book called Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. It's a terrific book. You are dealing with something so incredibly complex, something that I believe is the new heroin. Let me talk to all the other parents that are listening to this. This is a mom, self-described, that says she's heartbroken, that gave her daughter a phone far too young. Parents out there, do not give your children phones, period. It is not necessary. They do not need a smartphone. What she is describing is no different than heroin or cocaine addicts, where the brain literally goes into a withdrawal mode. It is so deplete of dopaminergic function that it can only survive with the continuation and the consumption of the drug. Kids come up to me sometimes and say, Charlie, I'm so depressed. I'd say, maybe you are, but you're probably burned out. This device, without you realizing it, is destroying your body's ability to decipher reality from fiction and stimulant from normal. Remember, dopamine is a reward molecule in your brain. And these Silicon Valley serpents knew exactly what they were doing. They manipulated neuroscientists to have you to continue to scroll unnecessarily. That literally overheats your entire operating system. It is not sustainable. And so my first piece of advice, which is your daughter isn't bored enough. If you ask any child that was raised before the advent of smartphones, how often were you bored growing up? The answer would be quite often. I was bored all the time. Figure it out. Go outside. Start playing. Use your imagination. You're not bored enough. Children go from device to screen to screen. The brain cannot handle it. God designed us to survive in the wild. And we have these screens of which there's someone on the back end of the screen that is intentionally prodding and provoking your dopaminergic response, where you feel as if you need more of that drug, and they're manipulating all the way through. Now, a lot of parents don't quite understand this, and I get it. That's okay. Data shows this, that you will see more attractive women or attractive men swiping on Instagram or single sites in 10 minutes versus 10 lifetimes 100 years ago. For young men especially, that makes them feel rather depressed. And I'll say this, therapists don't understand this, psychiatrists largely don't understand this, and doctors don't understand this. I can't imagine, though, how frustrating it must be for parents, and they have 15 and 16-year-olds, like, why are you depressed all the time? Why are you anxious all the time? And so to this mother that emailed me, I just want to implore you, read Comfort Crisis, listen to our program. There's a lot of different protocols that you can implement. But understand, resetting the brain, this is where you're going to have a difficult time. So for future parents, they don't need phones. I grew up without one. They'll figure it out. If they need a flip phone, give them a flip phone for emergencies. Find art, beauty, and literature that really glorifies something objective. Get away from all that nihilistic garbage. Those are just a couple points that I hope will help.